We did.
Ladies and gentlemen, would everyone please stand for the pledge? At this time, I'd like for Manuel Griffin to come up to the podium. Manuel Griffin is heretic and McAndrew Post 869 in Archibald. Manuel Griffin served the United States Army is a Vietnam veteran. His tours of duty in Vietnam include 5 years under the rank of E4. He is the recipient of several service medals, including the Vietnam Campaign Medal, Vietnam Defense Medal, and is a District Service Arms for District 11. Manuel, thank you for your service. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, would everyone please stand for a moment of silence? Yesterday, the United States received a devastating loss. We lost our former First Lady, Barbara Bush, who passed away yesterday in the company of her family. I'd like to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. She was a very elegant woman, and she really maintained what the First Lady of the White House should be. She did a great job. Also, I'd like to also keep a Yarmouth, Massachusetts police officer, Sean Gannon. Mr. Gannon was serving a warrant when he was shot and killed. He was a wonderful young man. He leaves behind a wife and family and many relatives and friends. I'd like to keep him also in our thoughts and prayers. Just a moment of silence for the two of them. Thank you. Manuel, thank you for coming in, sir. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, I'd like to bring this Wednesday, April 18, 2018 Board of Commissioners meeting to order. 10 a.m. the Commissioners Conference Room. I'd like to make a motion for the reading of minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Terriani?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes. Proclamation presentations. 18-0090. I was wondering if Willie Avansky could step up to the podium. Okay. Let's talk.
Let's wrestle, Willie.
Yeah, let's wrestle. Willie, astounding senior year. A lot of hard work leading up to this. One of only, I think, a few in the Lackawanna League, I think, that ever won a gold medal. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 3. I think you'd be like maybe the 3rd of all time in the Lackawanna League. Lots of great wrestlers in the Lackawanna League, too. Tell us about the lead up to it. Let's hear a little bit about the match that day. Like, what were you feeling? Like, this is the top. This is it.
I don't know. It was kind of like a tearjerker. Like, it was my last match of the year, so it was kind of like upsetting but exciting at the same time. I was done cutting weight, done just like after school. I got to go home and do what I want, so it was kind of nice at the same time.
You have to go home and eat what you want, all right?
I don't know. It was a good experience. I had fun.
Did you? Do we have anybody from the school here? Did anyone come out? Okay. All right. Would you guys like to come up to the podium? Let's talk about what the impact on the school was. This is an incredible opportunity for any school to have a gold medalist at PIAA official.
Congratulations.
Mr. Burgett's here. All right.
Officer Burgett,
Absolutely. Making sure the kids are safe at Scranton High School. Let's talk a little bit. What's the impact?
Pretty exciting to have somebody that's a gold medal winner. Just the leading up to it, going through districts, regional, states. Good time. And Willie all the way, just kind of even keel. He's never too high. He's never too low. He didn't bring his gold medal to school for.
Do you have it today?
I don't know.
Do you have it today?
No, I didn't.
No? Oh.
I asked him every day for a week. Where's the gold medal?
Gotta bring that to school.
His father
Absolutely.
brought it to work.
Dad, definitely. If I was dad, I'd take it to work too.
It
Absolutely.
was outstanding. We're very proud to have him as part of our student body.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Officer Baguette? You deal with a lot of students. You've been there a long time.
Yeah. Well, as his coach, it's
Yeah.
been just a long road too, trying to get him to that point. A lot of hard work, and I was happy to be able to go home and do what I want to do after. As well.
Yeah, because that's an extension of the season. That's a
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been a great encouragement to the younger guys, though. Them seeing him win has given them the encouragement to start working hard. They know how hard he worked, and I got a group of kids right now, maybe 7 of them, that are working right now. Season, if you got to work off season to do what he did, you have to work off season, and they're working right now. Some of them are getting up at 5:30 in the morning to go to CrossFit. They're doing the same things he was doing, and keep on them about their grades and stuff. So it's a good thing. Maybe we'll get some more state champions out of what
That's
he's done.
right. Well, you got to ask the vice principal when they're going to be hoisting that placard up in the gymnasium, because he's going to be. That's going to be nice. That will be in the gymnasium for forever. And I think your plaque, I think, will actually go probably in the trophy case. You're going to be, yeah, you're going to be enshrined. Really? You know how many students we're talking about that've gone through that school over since 2001? 17 years. A lot of these, all the wrestlers in the Lackawanna League, not to say every wrestler, is striving to be a PIAA gold medalist. They all are. They're going to play spot by spot districts all the way through, but their goal is to win the gold medal. You really put a period at the end of your scholastic career. You really did. Commissioner Cummings?
Well, as everyone's been saying, you're somebody that the other younger generation is going to look up to. So thank you for all the hard work and perseverance, and congratulations. So proud to have you here.
Thanks.
Commissioner Terriani?
You obviously worked very, very hard at it. It's a difficult sport. You have to have a good coach, a good support staff to be able to do that. Are you going to wrestle in college?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go to Johnstown Pit for 2 years and maybe transfer to the main pit after that.
Great. It's fun. It keeps you so busy, you really can't get in any trouble either, can you?
Yeah.
Keep working hard, and I'm sure all good things will happen to you. Congratulations.
You absolutely put the bar up high now for the rest of the Scranton Knights now. So, they got a lot to aspire to. And like your coach just said, they're working hard for it now. And it isn't like, years ago sports would be like every sport would end and the next sport would go into, and you get into that. To be really incredibly great, which you were this year, you have to put a lot of time and effort into it. It's very demanding. Probably from running, CrossFit, or all the things that you have to do, wrestling practices. Yeah, a lot of sessions, and losing weight. What's your walking around weight usually?
I wasn't too heavy. I wasn't a big cutter.
So it wasn't bad for you then. 152, right?
Yeah, so I weighed around like 155, 156.
Good. So you just drop a little bit of water weight and you'd be good to go.
Now he weighs 170.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's time to celebrate now. His graduation's coming up just around the corner on June 15th. Your graduation, I'll be there. But beyond that, to your parents, congratulations. I know there's a lot of time and effort in this, making sure that he gets the practices and making sure his clothes are clean and everything's ready and special things that he needs to eat and stuff. It's a lot of work. And Dad, you know how it is. You're talking to your son, you want him to do the best he can. You guys did a tremendous job. Congratulations. And to the coaching staff, great job, really. Like I said, there's a lot of work. And these kids become your kids. You know that. You know what I mean? Your relationship with Willie is going to be till forever. It's something that's going to last forever. But congratulations. We have a proclamation. Today we celebrate the outstanding success and history-making achievement of Willie Avansky, the 152-pound senior who wrestled for Scranton High School Knights, who captured a gold medal at the state AAA at the Class of 3A PIAA Championship. Whereas in early years, Willie enjoyed basketball and baseball, but began his dedication to wrestling in 6th grade. A lot of dedication there. The 3-time district champion. That alone, a lot of wrestlers, that would be more, that's a pinnacle. 3-time district champion, is the first Lackawanna League athlete to win a wrestling state championship since 2010. So we've had a drought here for 8 years. He secured the title by defeating Bald Mountain area's #1 wrestler in the state 152 pounds with a 5-2 victory. Ivansky won the first PIAA Wrestling Championship in Saturdays for Scranton's history. Scranton Knights, you made history for our school. Whereas recent wins were achieved at an Escape the Rock Tournament and the New Oxford Open. Whereas Willie is the son of Shayna and Tom Ivansky, who are not only the biggest fans, but major influences in his life. His mom attends every practice. Mom, you got a lot of stuff going on there. Every practice, and dual meet, and is a great motivator. Willie's dad is a driving force to get him into the sport, and has helped him to realize a lifelong dream of a state gold medal. He is a brother to Aru and Anthony, who are also wrestlers. He plans to further his education at a Division I school and major in business. Now, therefore, we, Patrick O'Malley, Jerry Terriani, Lorraine A. Cummings, Commissioners of County of Lackawanna, Pennsylvania, do hereby acknowledge and proclaim April 18, 2018, on behalf of the 214,000 citizens as Willie Ivansky Day in Lackawanna County. It's your day. Congratulations. Let's bring your mom and dad up. Talk to them before. Oh, grandfather? Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, that's tough.
Do you want your grandpa?
Coach Burgett. Grandpa, come on up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Hey, what's up?
Congratulations. Oh, we need the principal too, the vice principal come up. Absolutely. This is big for your school.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is for you.
Your coach, too. Congratulations. Must be elated. Can we
You
make
guys
one?
want to file in over here a little bit? If you could, that'd be great.
Come around.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Why don't you get right alongside Willie, you're his coach, okay? That'd be great. Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll take three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thanks. Great. Thanks.
Bring that back to school.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep your pocket. Don't let me get it.
Just watch the step.
Congratulations,
Be
Mom.
careful.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Tell Mr. Coyle I said hello.
Will do.
Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Willie. Have a good day.
That's a
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough sport. Real tough. 18-0091, Small Business Spotlight.
Small Business Spotlight is recognizing Cooper's Seafood House. The Cooper family is here. Come on up to the podium. I've never had the honor, so. Can you tell us a little bit about what got you started? And
Hi, well, I'm Mark Cooper. This is my brother Jack, my brother Paul, and my nephew Ryan. Well, we've been in business since 1948, as my dad started there after World War II, and went into with his brothers. Started off, they really didn't know anything about the business. Sort of, it was kind of thrust on them. My Uncle Frank had started the business a couple years before that. He had bought into it, because originally it started as a seafood restaurant in 1941. Stanley Andres, Bill Loughran, and Leo Parrish went together, started. It was always a seafood restaurant, and in 1945 they thought they would get out and open diners, get all the GIs coming back. So they sold it to a fellow named George Lavelle, who was a blender from Shenley. He and my Uncle Frank went partners, and right after the war, my Uncle Frank sent my dad down. My dad was a weaver, loom mechanic. They're all in the manufacturing business. Anyway, he went down and started running the business for him, and eventually all the other brothers joined in, and we just kind of fell into it. As kids, you had to go over and wash dishes. You were just constantly, whenever the phone would ring, no matter who was sick,
That's great.
go to work. So we grew up in this thing, and I said, I'm never going to do this. And I think all of us said the same thing. We're never going to do this. We all went to college, all got degrees and everything else, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Anyway, what's happening now is it's 70 years since they went in. 70 years. It was my dad's birthday, April 24th, and that's when they started. He went in there right around his birthday. So we decided for 70-year anniversary, we're going to do something different for the community because Scranton's been so good to us. And, I mean, what more can you say about this area? There's so many great things around here, from museums to St. Joe's. St. Joe's, that's one of our pet projects also. We're doing, because of this 70th anniversary, we're having a raffle. We're giving away a trip to Ireland for two. Second prize is a basket of cheers, like 70 bottles of upscale stuff. Third prize is a lighthouse party for 20, all inclusive.
Well, that's a nice one.
We're trying to raise $20,000 for St. Joe's. We've already got 10.
Wow.
One of our pet projects. We actually love our community, love this area. It's been so good to us, and we give back to the community. We have fundraisers all the time. We do the Firkin Fridays. There's always something we're giving back with, and I think that's what it all embodies. Living here and being part of the community is you want to give back, and the community gives back to us the same way. So what we have retro drinks. We've got drinks from the like the 50s and all that were popular back then, with retro prices. Lobster tails for $7.70. We have
That's great.
a lot of the things that were popular then. Clam chowder and rice pudding and stuff, all at like 70 cents. So it's going to be a heck of a week. Some of our probably the most famous dishes that we had that were popular back then are also on the menu at reduced prices. So we're all game to go, and we love Scranton. We absolutely love it.
Anyone else?
more. That's it.
That's about it, yeah. I think we gave you the menus up there so you can look at them.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you'll all be
Yeah.
over.
Do we have the menu?
It's right here.
Oh, here's
And so we've had everybody in the place. We had President Clinton
Yeah.
visited here.
I was just
We've
going to
had
ask you that.
It was wonderful, wonderful.
That's amazing.
Well, I love hearing the stories for small businesses and how they started and where they're at. And it's interesting that all of you went to college for something different, I'm assuming,
Yes.
than,
Yeah.
Yep, we all did.
and you're still in the main business that your family started. And that's a testament to you and your father and your uncle and your whole entire family. And this is your nephew, did I hear you?
This is Jack's son, Ryan. Just-
So it's continuing. You're going to continue
Continuing
the
on,
tradition
yes.
and keeping Cooper Seafood here. I've eaten at your restaurant many, many, many times. I love your restaurant. It's excellent food, and I'm always has great service. And the pictures on the wall.
Like a museum.
We
It is.
We are partnered with the Everhard also. So
Are you really? Okay. Well, I love those pictures when we're walking through. So I was going to ask, who is the most famous person you've had in the restaurant to date?
I
Do you
would
know?
say President Clinton.
President Clinton.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
And
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary.
I know you had, didn't no Republicans? Come on. I'm just
Dick
teasing you.
Thornburg was in. And,
Dick Thornburg we've
who
had.
else we had?
Uh,
John
Yeah,
McDay
Dick
was a
Thornburg.
good
John
customer.
McDay was a great customer also.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Did you have any celebrities in there? I thought I saw some.
Oh,
God,
quite a
yeah.
few.
Lots,
Oh, good
lots.
Lord.
A lot of them, right?
Some have passed away, like
Yeah,
the
the old,
older generation. A lot
We
of
had Larry
wrestlers.
Holmes in there a bunch of times.
Larry Holmes,
Larry
yeah.
Holmes. Oh, yeah, we had.
Heavyweight champ for eight years, 10 years.
Yeah, actually,
Andre
he
the
had.
Giant was there.
Oh,
Andre the Giant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I
Watch his
remember
biography
him.
on
Andre the
Four
Giant.
Devil Crab dinners, as a matter of fact.
The key is how many drinks he had there.
I don't remember that.
I do remember that.
But we have wrestling aficionados that the kids washing dishes, and they always ask, like, which wrestlers win? And we said, oh, Andre the Giant was in, and like he ate 4 devil crab dinners, and he had spaghetti after that.
Spaghetti.
Oh, I remember having them all. We had Killer Kowalski and
Killer
oh,
Kowalski.
God, a whole bunch of
Jeez.
all the old time wrestlers.
Yeah.
You're too young for that.
Bruno San
Killer
Martino.
Kowalski. I know that name from my grandma.
Yeah, that was all the old CYC. They used to have
Yeah.
the wrestlers up there, and they would come down. We'd get a lot of them.
That's amazing that you were able to meet all these people and do something that you love and pass it on and actually, have a thriving restaurant in this area. I'm so proud to have you here. Thank you for coming in. What were the 2 trips that you're having? Did you say you were?
It's a trip to Ireland for 2. And it's a raffle for trip to Ireland. The second prize is going to be a basket of cheers, 70 bottles
That trip to Ireland and Scranton, are you kidding me? You're going to get bombarded. You should make a fortune on
Yeah,
that. Those-
actually, John Madden from Travel World donated the trip for Jill.
Really?
That's nice.
Shout out to you.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, John's another one always great with everything.
Wow. Well,
We've got some fantastic businesses and fantastic people in this area. You know, always been proud to it. I've gone away. When I was in the Army, I remember being in outside of Seoul, Korea, walked in and met people from Scranton. Just that camaraderie that you know when you know someone from this area. It's there.
Yeah, when you walk in your restaurant, you know that it's just, it's a comfortable and great atmosphere. And I mean, I enjoy your restaurant a lot. So, and I know a lot of people do. And the birthday, you give people their birthday dinner for free. So, you really are a testament to what it is to start, create, and build a business that's gone on for family generations. And so proud to have you here. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you for the younger generation and continuing it. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
Commissioner Terriani?
It's a lot of years since I've been going in there. It's there's always at least one of you there, usually two, a lot of times three.
We do work 7 days a week, yeah, that's true.
And I think that is what makes it important. People go to see you and talk with you. Your fundraisers for, I think this next week is the River Corridor.
River Corridor, yes. Yeah, with Bernie McGurl.
The entire proceeds of a keg, the first keg, goes to the organization. They've been doing that for years. They're just a great family, great guys, do a great job, and it's a wonderful restaurant. And thank you very much.
Thanks, Jerry.
Your crab bisque soup, my favorite. It is. It's the best. It really is. God, how many meetings I've had there over drinks at the bar, appetizers,
We know you commit
dinners.
that.
Yeah. It really is. It's a cornerstone of the community, and it brings so much to the table. And you walk in, and it's like there's a show Cheers. Everybody walks, everybody's like it's beyond that. You walk in, you feel really at home, like you're walking into your living room, except it's somebody's establishment, the Cooper's family. But it really is. It's so much of the community. And I'll tell you what, it's the end of the most painful day of my life for the last 22 years. That's the last hill, and it's called, I don't know if you know this, the Streamtown Marathon, that's called Cooper's Hill.
Yes.
Going up the hill, and you're on the right-hand side, and I'd be looking at the building, trying to get away from the pain I'm in going up the hill to get to the finish line on Washington Avenue. But tremendous. In 70 years, your parents, this is something that's in your blood. And like you said, it's funny, when you're a kid, you think, I'm going to leave. I've been with them. Listen, I'm involved with a family business, and we're constantly there, and they're constantly there. My kids are constantly there. And I can see that, then you go off to school. What do you want to do? You go back home, and you do what's in your blood, in your bones. You go back, and you make people happy. And to give someone a great meal, and some drinks, and to a big smile on their face as they're leaving. It really, really matters. And your staff is tremendous. And that's a big thing. When you go in somewhere, everybody's friendly. What would you like to drink? And everybody's smile on their face. Because some people come in there, a bad situation might have just happened, but you're bringing them all up. That's what it's about. And like I said, and you've evolved. The place is, oh my God. From the lighthouse to the boat to everything else. Congratulations, and you really are. You're testament to what our community is about.
Amen.
Long lasting.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We agree. We agree.
Absolutely. Okay, Commissioner.
Certificate of recognition. The County of Lackawanna Board of Commissioners does hereby recognize Cooper's Seafood House on the occasion of its 70th anniversary and in honor of achieving the designation of a small business spotlight in Lackawanna County, given this 18th day of April 2018 by Commissioner Patrick O'Malley, Commissioner Jerry Notarianni, and myself, Commissioner Cummings. Another one to put on your wall of famous people and pictures. Come on up.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
No, I saw this in the paper. crap, this is my favorite.
Congratulations. Absolutely.
Thank you. Jerry, thank you again.
Congratulations. Wonderful.
Jerry, thanks.
Oh, you
Congratulations.
Commissioner Cummings, you see the certificate? and-
Congratulations. Come on over here. You get in the middle. You're the important one.
Black it up so big. I'll get behind you so you.
We're all nice and tall, so this.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, that's all right.
Keep track of something.
Nice, very nice. Here we go. Looking at me, guys. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All smiles. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
And I usually ask the location, but some of them don't even know the location by now. They've been living in a cave.
Really good. Thank you so
Thank you. At Pisco always speaks highly.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be over during the celebration week, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I can't wait. You know what, before we close on our proclamation presentation, Gary, I'd like for you to say a few words, because I know through the years we would stop in there after the fact. Go ahead, about Cooper's.
Well, I would, if there's one restaurant.
Gentlemen, before you leave, the controllers will say a few words.
I'd say that if there's one restaurant that just speaks to what we are here in this city, it's Cooper's Seafood Restaurant. You walk in there and it's like being home. And I love going there. Everybody loves going there. And we just appreciate you being here in Scranton for as long as you have. And don't ever close.
That's on you, Ryan. Ryan, that's you now, Ryan. Start having some kids. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Guys.
This is first on the list.
Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only.
Ooh, be careful. You're right there.
Yes, Marie Schumacher, 1799 East Mountain Road, Scranton. I'm sure you know that I'm here for the second reading of the ordinance implementing the county vehicle registration fee, and to ask that you vote against implementing that fee. I think if there's one thing that irritates us as taxpayers, it's these little nickel and dime things that keep popping up, and the fact that they seem to grow better than my garden a lot. They start out at 5. And as a resident of the city of Scranton, I must say it might even be a drop in the bucket for me compared to what I'm going to have to absorb in my property taxes to make up for the property that's being taken by you all on Wyoming Avenue off the tax rolls. So it's a double whammy for those of us who are in Scranton, and I do hope you will all vote against it. I know Ms. Cummings is voting against it, and I hope that at least one of the two of the rest of you vote against it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Joan Hodawana, it's 220 Linden Street, Scranton. I never imagined I'd be coming up to address the issue I'm going to address right now, but here I am. Resolution 18-0092, approving current payables. What assurance do I as a taxpayer have that checks made out regarding these payables have the appropriate signatures, are not post-dated into the future, and meet with every other internal control which presumably you have enforced to safeguard the revenue that we taxpayers pay to you? Anybody want to comment?
No.
Well, if you recall an article in the Times Tribune on April 11th, settlement check violates county charter. This is the $45,000 check, I believe, to the firm of Walkard and Comerford Law. Now, apparently, there were 2 violations of the county home rule charter. One was that the appropriate signatures were not in place. There were 3 facsimile signatures, each of you, but there was no manual signature. And let me quote this article. Both Karpovich and County Chief Financial Officer Tom Durkin called the missing signature a quote-unquote oversight. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as a $45,000 oversight. $45,000 is more than the average full-time worker in Scranton makes in a year. So if it's happened before, and the issue is regarded as an oversight, I am going to assume it's happened in the past, and I am going to assume unless something is done, it's going to happen again in the future. I wrote a letter to the editor, and it got published, and I'm telling you, if you treat my money like monopoly money, then each one who's participating in that attitude should be paid in monopoly money. In addition, let's look at the second attachment to current payables. On page 18, Myers, Breyer, and Kelly AP. This is an accounts payable dated April 16th for $74,073.16. Would that be with regard to the legal services they're providing for the prison investigation? Is that what that 74 grand is for?
Yes.
Okay. And so can you give me what is the current running tab on the legal fees we've accrued for that investigation? If I recall, as of the end of February, it was somewhere in the vicinity of $350,000, and that does not include the money paid for overtime while these individuals were on paid administrative leave. So what's the current total in legal fees?
Well, there's a distinction because the lawyers weren't paying for the grand jury testimony of any of the employees. Those fees were specifically to go through if you
Emails.
want to.
I understand
Yeah,
the
so it had
emails.
nothing to do with the
I
testimony.
still want to know what the current tab is, because
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up. Me, okay? It's still
It's in the neighborhood of 350.
It was $350 at the end of February. This is April
The
16th.
bills traditionally run 30 days after. At the end of the month, they invoice out.
Okay, well, 30 days will bring you back to March 16th.
We'll get you a total up to date.
Okay, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm fed up with watching people, be loosey-goosey with the tax money that I send in and then call it an oversight. You're not going to slap me in the face like that again. I will be up here every meeting challenging these accounts payable till I am assured that you're handling them properly. In addition, I'll be writing a letter to Barbetti. He's your auditor. I want to know what he's doing to review internal controls on the handling of accounts payable. This is atrocious.
He's not our auditor for our county comprehensive audit.
Who is it?
Tom Durkin. What's our auditor's name?
Baker Tilly.
Well, then I'll write Baker and Tilly. But this is unconscionable. And knowing that this happened should be a red flag to the auditor, and he should drill down on the way you're handling these and take a hard look at your internal controls, and you should too.
Thanks, John.
Anyone else? Okay. Ordinance second reading, 18-0097.
This is implementing a county vehicle registration fee. The first reading of this ordinance was held on January 10th of 2018. The second reading and possible adoption of the ordinance is scheduled for today on April 18th, 2018. This is known as ordinance number 252 of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna, Pennsylvania. This is an ordinance implementing a fee for local use as provided by Pennsylvania statute, allowing a county to impose a county fee of $5 for each non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located within the county's political borders. Whereas Lackawanna County is a third-class county existing pursuant to the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Whereas Act 89 of 2013, amending 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935, allows counties within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania at their discretion to impose a $5 fee for each and every non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located within said county. Whereas 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935 requires each county that elects to implement this fee to pass an ordinance authorizing the same. Whereas beginning January 1st, 2015, Pennsylvania authorized a county to enact this ordinance to levy this county fee. Whereas 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935 requires the county to notify the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Transportation on or following the enactment date at a minimum of 90 days prior to effective date in the ordinance. Whereas upon levy by ordinance of the county and due notice to the Department of the Commonwealth, the department collects the county fee at a time of vehicle registration to deposit receipts into a fee for local use fund. Whereas 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935 directs the county paid into the fee for local use fund shall be distributed by the department to each participating county in accordance with the amount collected from said county. Whereas funds payable to a county from the fee for local use fund shall be used by the county solely for transportation purposes or be allocated by the county to municipalities in the county in accordance with 75 Pennsylvania statute related to the Lackawanna County Liquid Fuels Tax Fund. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County has determined at this time it is in the best interest of the county to impose a $5 fee authorized pursuant to 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935 and hereby presents the following ordinance 252 for approval. Now therefore the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna hereby ordains as follows. 1. Enact this ordinance levying a fee of $5 pursuant to 75 Pennsylvania Statute 1935 for each non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located in Lackawanna County. 2. If a section, subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by any court or competent jurisdiction, such decision shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. 3. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect 90 days after enactment as required by law, adopted at a regular Board of County Commissioners meeting held on April 18th, 2018.
Okay. 18-0097, ordinance number 252, implementing a county vehicle registration fee. Do I have a second? Okay, do I have a second? Okay, then. Ordinance dies by lack of a second.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Resolution 18-0092.
This is approving current payables. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby approves the following payables from the Lackawanna County General Fund numbers 260-836 through 261-699, inclusive totaling $2,271,061.73. Electronic fund transfers, including all payroll accounts, totaling $3,100,965.93.
Okay, does the board have any questions on current payables?
I just want to, with Joan's commentary, I just want to have a little discussion on that, because she does bring up a lot of valid questions and complaints. Most of the checks, Joan, just so you know, are basically stamped with our stampers for approval, and then we vote on them here. And I've gone through the ledgers, and they've been legitimate checks, but there's some that go to, they're for a lot of different areas. There's a lot of adoptees that get checks that I had questions because I didn't understand why we're giving specific people checks. I agree, it's a mundane process. When we get invoices into our controller's office, we count on him to tell us they're legitimate expenses, and every time we do ask him and say, is this a legitimate expense? So we're really relying on our controller and our treasurer to let us know that these are actual legitimate expenses that the county needs to incur. In regards to the legal fees, we have, our attorneys are working on behalf of the commissioners, so we don't know what exactly that work entails. We don't get an invoice up here from them, but they hand in bills in batches, from what I'm understanding, and that's approved by by Donnie and Solicitor Brazil. So they're confirming that these are legitimate legal expenses, and we're taking their advice as to that being the fact. So that's how it works from my perspective on the payables getting approved. But when we see something or want further information, we'll ask either our solicitors or our controller to let us know if an expenditure comes up that we don't want or we don't feel is appropriate. And they'll flag that for us so that when we're up here, they'll say this check is included in this batch. And, you know, they're just letting us know that it's in there. So then that we know, okay, if I disagreed with something, it's in here so I can vote appropriately. And that's basically how I handle these. And Controller, you're certainly welcome to add to that if you wish.
Yes, Commissioner, just to let Joan know and everyone in the public that every invoice gets 3 approvals before they're paid. So prior to coming to our controller's office, every invoice has already been approved twice by the department head and someone else involved in the process of that particular invoice. Now, I could tell you that our department takes the process of auditing the final step of all county payables very seriously. We thoroughly review every invoice that we receive. We make sure that the county is following the legal process of paying its obligations. Regarding the legal matters involving the prison, just yesterday I spoke with Attorney John Brazil, and we had a good discussion about some of those legal invoices involving the prison raid. He was able to tell me as much as he legally can tell me because of confidentiality issues. He actually gave me the name and number of an attorney at Myers, Breyer, and Kelly, who I reached out to. Actually, they called me, and we haven't spoken yet. So I will not release that $70,000 check that Joan mentioned until I speak to him. And, we're sure that, that we followed the process and we're legally obligated to pay that. And I don't know if Mr. Brazil would want to comment any further on those particular bills, but in general, every bill is thoroughly reviewed, approved, audited before it's paid.
Thank you so much.
No check should be missing a manual signature. That's an internal control problem on the processing of the check after payment's been approved. I am not questioning whether Walker and Comerford should have been paid or whether Myers should have been paid. I'm questioning the way you're handling the checks. And that needs to be looked into.
Joan, when checks leave our controller's office, there's 4 facsimile signatures on them, and they go up to the treasurer's office for a live signature. I did speak to Treasurer Karpovich about that particular check, the $45,000 check, and he said that probably is the first time that's happened in years, believe it or not. So I don't know what happened when the check did get to the treasurer's office, but that one did not have a live signature. And we assumed that they weren't going to be paid until Monday, March 26th, and that was the date that we were told to date those checks, that particular day. Well, actually, it should have stayed at the treasurer's office, I believe, until March 26th, Monday, March 26th. But not sure what happened with that particular check.
And, you know, I mean, not to continue on the subject, but it's just a process that we'll have to look at policy and procedure on that. And I think we had discussed that in a work session. So I think we're going to continue to look at that.
Well,
and
we actually do have a policy and procedure on it, Commissioner, but the policy and procedure wasn't followed. We do have a policy and procedure. The check should not have been released by the Treasurer's Office without a written signature and should not have been released prior to March 26th, so it would be counterproductive to come up with a policy and procedure that's already in place.
Well, where did the process break down then?
Obviously, a mistake was made by someone, and facts speak for themselves.
Okay.
And Joan, if I can answer this, I am the one that received that check. In speaking with our finance department, I'm told that happens quite regularly. Checks are expedited. All I did was ask a question. I did not look at the check to see if it was signed. It had nothing to do with the prison investigation. It was an insurance settlement. Okay? It has nothing to do with the current investigation. It was something that happened where our attorneys and the insurance company attorney said they need to be paid. They did something wrong. If I thought for 1 second that I was doing anything improper, I'm sure people, I know people get checks expedited regularly. At least, I'm told at least once a week.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well, those
They
people-
probably go through procedures to where it would get to the treasurer's office, but I don't know the answer to that. I don't do that.
Well, checks are getting
I-
expedited.
Who are they? Who are those checks? I have no idea.
Listen, you know, part of the reason I even am sitting up here today is because I had issues when I staffed Lackawanna County Healthcare Center. I mean, Ed Karpovich, I had to go and see him every week to try and get payments. If we really want to have a discussion here about payments, it's never been expedited for me. So if it's expedited for people, I mean, I waited over a year for payments to the point where it actually had become a problem for me, for my company.
And in my company, so that has happened to me too. in my
So
office.
I've never heard of expedited checks.
To the best of my
And
knowledge,
if they are, then
Commissioner,
I would like somebody fired for this because this is ridiculous.
to the best of my knowledge, we expedite a check for postage to the U.S. Postal Service when we're doing a mailing. That's what was explained to me.
Policy wasn't-
I wasn't given any other examples.
I said that we've got to look further into this. I mean, we haven't, but if there's a policy that's not being followed, we have to see why and who, and it just needs further investigation.
We could discuss it at a work session.
Yeah, I think we need to. I think that we should. That's all I have on
Okay.
things.
Okay, can I have a motion approving current payables?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
You can
Commissioner,
second
seconded by Commissioner Cummings?
Yeah, I'll
Roll
second
call.
Commissioner Niteriani?
No, because of the two checks to Myers, Breyer, and Kelly for $74,000.
it. But we could pay your attorney, but not them. That's amazing.
I have received a letter from John Brazil explaining to me why. I still don't understand why we are, and the quote, to help the Attorney General's office investigate. I don't know that they came and asked us for their help. I don't know any of that. It doesn't, I think maybe the controller should get a agreement from two commissioners as to whether we're going to pay them. That's my position on it. That's it. It passes.
Well, I could tell you that, we're holding that check until there's two commissioners
That's
to
great.
approve that payment.
Could you send an explanation or talk to Commissioner Terriani, Solicitor Brazil?
No, but I will send him one. I mean, I was asked 2 items at the last meeting by his attorney, but I will send him a letter detailing what I've already related at our work sessions. But I will do that
Okay.
within the next week.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cummings?
I'm sorry, we were on the vote? What's that? Roll call.
Yes, for the payables.
Commissioner O'Malley?
You know,
I know, it's like a distraction. I don't know what the hell.
I was going to just let it go through, but we had legal bills, and I don't want to know a real lot about how it's set up and why it's set up because of our ongoing investigation with the Attorney General's office. But, we have the best attorneys we can to make sure that our government is kept safe on behalf of the citizens of Lackawanna County, the 214,000 of them. And I've never, ever expedited a check here in my entire life, okay, that I know of. except for maybe if we had I think we had the water problem, I think, across the street, basically. I mean, emergency situations, things that need to be pushed through. I totally get it. But this was a different situation. I mean, this was a law firm that's suing us. That's what this was. And the settlement was agreed upon. But it wasn't supposed to be expedited within 3 days. It just shouldn't have been done. And also on top of it is the fact that it's your cousin. It's your cousin's law firm who also has ongoing lawsuits against us. That was the part that got me in it. I would never have said a word at that point, but then it got pushed through. I would not go and ask for a check for somebody who has a settlement for us. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen in Lackawanna County. It shouldn't happen.
I processed the emergency water check, Commissioner. I walked it through. Because the people's water was turned off. 78 residents were affected. I spoke to the entire Board of Commissioners, and they all authorized me to do that.
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
that at
wrong.
11 o'clock at night, if you recall. I came down to the office and typed
That was
up
for the
the
trailers
memorandum.
up in
That is correct. I did that at your discretion.
Valley View Estates.
I did do that.
Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, 18-0089.
This is approving a child care information services audit. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby awards the performance of child care information services audit to Brian T. Kelly, CPA and Associates, 30 North Street, Carbondale, for year ending June 30th, 2018, at price not to exceed $9,500. And Tom Durkin, our Chief Financial Officer from Lackawanna County, is here to answer any questions on the proposed agreement.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Fine, Commissioner. How are you? Good morning, Commissioners. This is an engagement with the Kelly law firm, or excuse me, the Kelly, too much law firm stuff. Excuse me, with the Kelly accounting firm, who has actually done the CCIS audit for each of the last 5 years, I believe. It's a little bit expedited this year because of the situation with our CCIS department closing down as of June 30th. So we want to get the auditors in to try and get the audit done as quickly as we can while we still have personnel who know what the details are about the transaction. So this is a little earlier than we normally would do the award of an engagement for CCIS. Normally we would do that in the fall, but because we need to get them in and get it done while we still have personnel working in the office, we're asking the commissioners to approve
Expedited
this
it.
engagement. Right.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Durkin? Okay, I'd like to make a motion awarding child care information services audit. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Niterian?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Tom. 18-0093.
Entering into a radiation emergency response grant agreement. Be resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enters into a grant agreement with Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency for radiation response for fiscal year 2018 in the amount of $9,119. And our Deputy Director for Emergency Management, Mr. Rich Barbolish, is here to answer any questions.
Morning, Commissioners. This is our annual grant, $9,119 in support of our radiation protection program in Lackawanna County's role as a support county to Susquehanna Nuclear Power Plant.
Okay, does the board have any questions for Rich? Okay, I'd like to make a motion entering into a radiation emergency response grant agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Niterian? Yes. Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
18-0094.
This is an agreement with Susquehanna Steam Electric Station. Be it resolved, Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enters into an agreement with Susquehanna Steam Electric Station on behalf of Lackawanna County Emergency Management for a backup emergency operating facility. And again, Mr. Barbolish is here to explain this agreement to us.
Rich.
Commissioners, this agreement is for us to provide a small amount of space in our emergency operations center should the support staff for Susquehanna Nuclear have to evacuate their plant.
Okay, does the board have any questions for Rich? I'd like to make a motion entering into an agreement with Susquehanna Steam Electric Station. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Niterian?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. 18-0095.
authorizing and ratifying the filing of a North Pocono Trail Project Agreement. Whereas Lackawanna County Commissioners desire to undertake the design of a North Pocono Trail project, whereas the applicant desires to receive from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources a grant for the purpose of carrying out this project, whereas the application project includes a document entitled Terms and Conditions of Grant Entitlement, titled Grant Agreement Signature Page, whereas the applicant understands the contents of this document entitled Terms and Conditions of Grant. Now therefore be it resolved, the grant agreement signature page may be signed on behalf of the applicant by the official who at the time has title of chairman. If this official signed the grant agreement signature page prior to the passage of resolution, the grant of this authority applies retroactively to the date of signing. If the applicant is awarded the grant agreement signature page signed by the above official will become the applicant grant's executed signature page for the grant agreement, and the applicant grant agreement will be bound by the grant agreement. 4, any amendment to the grant agreement may be signed on behalf of the grantee by the official who at the time of signing of the amendment has the title of chairman specified in paragraph 1, and the grantee will be bound by the amendment. Mr. George Kelly, Director of our Economic and Community Development Office, is here to answer any questions on the proposed agreement. George?
Good morning, Commissioners. This grant is for the design work on a trail that's going to stretch from Dunmore all the way out to North Pocono. The first phase is a 4-mile trip that will get us from Dunmore through Elmhurst, and the second part of this is all the way out. Currently, there's a construction project going on with PennDOT, and they're investing significant money in upgrading a railroad bridge that we own in Dunmore at the start of the trail. What we want to do is use that money as a match to apply to DCNR to get this funding to do the design of the trail, so that once the work is done on the bridge and once PennDOT spends significant money, we could actually go in and ask for money to complete a section of the trail. No general fund money is being used for this. This is using PennDOT's expenses to match to improve one of our assets, and we do own the trail.
Okay.
So this has nothing to do with the bridge?
We're using the bridge to improve the trail from the bridge out to Elmhurst.
We're getting a grant from the monies for the bridge.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
far,
match.
so far PennDOT has spent about $170,000 on the design work to fix the bridge so that they can fix the twin bridges that is going to occur in the
PennDOT
near
is
future.
spending this money to fix the bridge above them that goes up to 380. That's correct,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
they're fixing the bridge.
Right.
So therefore, we can just use the funds
Right.
to do this. This project, we acquired this land back in 1980, and with the intention of creating a walking and a bicycle trail. The problem is it's expensive to do that, and we don't want to use that money. Prior administrations didn't want to use general funds to make that happen. Bill Davis, our head of Parks and Recreation, found a very creative way of working with PennDOT and DCNR to leverage money that's spent by another group to better our property and to actually design and figure out what it's going to take to put this trail into use. Right
Okay.
now, it's vacant land. We really don't maintain it much at all, and it's just sitting there.
So this is land that we own that's just sitting there, we don't maintain it, we don't have to spend any money on it, it's just there, correct?
Right now, it's just there.
Okay,
There is
so-
a little bit of work done by the Rotary of North Pocono. They've invested about $4,000 into a little section of the trail, but it's all been non-county funds.
Okay, so let's go step at a time here, okay? We have the bridge getting fixed by PennDOT.
Yes.
They're paying for that.
Yes.
So what money is left over from that? What are you talking about?
There is no money left over in terms of them paying for it. They invested it into design work for that bridge.
Okay.
We applied for a grant to DCNR.
So this grant is an additional grant. It has nothing to do with the bridge. It's an additional grant we're applying for.
It's the first grant that we're applying for since 1980 when it was acquired. So this will be the first grant that we're looking for to do the design work to make this trail come.
To do the design work for,
Actually laying out the trail, to grade the trail, figure out what needs to be done.
for
to
what
have it as-
trail?
There's the old Erie Rails to Trail project. It's an Erie railroad line that the tracks have been taken up, and we're now looking to convert that to a recreational use.
And who's going to maintain that?
It's county property. We will have to do it or find someone to do it, as we do with other trails in the county.
So we're getting a grant. What match are you referring to? You said they're going to use the creative way of using money. What exact monies are involved here?
PennDOT had to spend money to do the
Refurb
design
the bridge,
work
right?
on the bridge that it currently exists. So they had to spend this because they need to get access to the bridges over 380, the twin bridges. So therefore, since PennDOT is spending their money to do this, we looked at it, and Bill sat down with myself and said that we could leverage what they are spending. We are not spending it. PennDOT is spending it to get a grant to do the design work on this trail.
So they're spending money on a roadway to get to the bridge, correct?
They're spending money on the bridge to get to the roadway.
To get to the road.
Okay, let me
See,
clarify.
I need to see a picture of this because
We did a while ago, I think months ago, we had some kind of depiction
I was supposed to
here.
go and see it, and I didn't
It's
get a
actually a safety issue. We're going to
Yeah.
put a new span over the bridge, and they're going to utilize the money from the span for match on the trail, George.
Yes.
So, okay, the bridge that we own, which we would actually have to fix if there was an issue with
Right.
it or tear it down,
Do something with it.
state is coming in, they're gonna refurb the whole bridge.
And
So
make
we
it a
refurb
walking
bridge.
bridge and leave it behind
The
it.
money that's used to refurb the bridge for them to be able to get over to work on their bridge is the money we're using the matching grant to redo the trail.
It's not going
So-
to cost us anything.
It's not gonna cost anything.
So,
But people are currently using the trail, but it's not really, well, it's not maintained
There
at
are
all.
hikers, there's walkers, there's been some ATVs that have been on in the past.
no, it's just ATVs. I already looked into that, George. There's no walkers. It's ATVs. That's what the complaint was. As far as the bridge goes, they can't get to the bridge without creating a road, is what you're saying. Am I, or no, you can't get to the road that they need to utilize in order to, unless they fix the bridge.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
They have to bring the
The
equipment
bridge
over
is
that,
a
right?
railroad bridge, an old railroad bridge?
That is correct.
Okay, so they're just going to refurbish this railroad bridge. It's not utilized by anyone, correct?
Not at this time.
No trains, no nothing. Okay. So are they going to fix the railroad ties and all that? Or are they just making a walking bridge?
They are making it so that they can bring vehicles and construction vehicles
So they're
across.
paving a bridge. It's no longer going to be a rail.
No, not going to be a rail at all.
Okay, so that's what they're taking the rails out, putting a regular road bridge in, so they can drive over that and get to a road they need to utilize for other things that they're working on. So you're taking the money they spent on this project and saying that that is a match, so you can apply for another grant through the state that's a bike study grant, am I right?
It's the grant to design the trail to actually implement the trail.
It's a trail study, it's not purely bikes, it's
No,
for
it's
all
not bike,
kinds
it's
of.
walking recreation. It's really to determine how can we, or what we should do to make this thing a safe trail recreation.
But there is no trail there now. We're going to create one.
It's an old train bed, train
It's an
track
old
bed.
train track. Just so people understand, this is not a trail that we're improving. It is an old train track bridge. And PennDOT needs this to be a paved roadway so that they can get to their project. That's all it is. That's how apparently desolate this area is that I haven't had a chance to look at yet, so I apologize for that. But, so now we're going to create a new trail from where? Dunmore to?
Dunmore out to Elmhurst at this time.
Dunmore to Elmhurst, that we're going to have to maintain. So how much money exactly in total has been spent with this grant included? Your match would be what?
The total money that has been spent to date since the 1980 acquisition of the property
No, I'm just talking, well,
has
okay, go ahead.
been, PennDOT has currently to date spent $170,000 of their money towards the project. We want to use that. The work that has been done, or the expenses so far, has been just the time and effort of Bill Davis, head of Parks and Recreation, who's been spearheading this.
Okay.
And a little bit of time on my staff to put together the grant application.
And then the grant itself is how much?
$170,000 is what we're asking for at this time.
Oh, so it's a 100% match.
That has been matched by PennDOT, so we're just saying, please, can we have $170,000 to get a design firm in to design the trail from Dunmore through Elmhurst and then to North Pocono?
And this is just to design the trail?
Yes, ma'am.
This isn't the trail itself. This is just a designing it. For $170,000, we're going to design a trail from Dunmore. It's not the trail itself.
It's not the trail itself, it's just the design work.
And who would contract for that?
We would actually put out bids. So in the same way that we administer grants,
Request for
many grants,
qualification, right?
we would do a bid process
It'd
qualification.
be done at the Commissioners' meeting, correct,
Yeah,
George?
Definitely so, to
Thank
award
you,
the
sir.
contract.
Thank
Actually,
you.
once we receive the the grant if we receive it. We'd come back to vote on the acceptance of that grant. Then the next step would be go out to get firms to bid on it and to submit proposals on the design work.
And it's okay to use a $170,000 expenditure of PennDOT as a match, as our county match towards another grant?
Yes.
We have a letter from them committing that and saying we could do it. We do.
That's part of that voodoo math that Commissioner Natariani always talks about.
Oh,
like,
they allowed us
it's
to use the money
amazing.
as a
Like, I'm
match,
sure
so we wouldn't have
as
to
a private
expend any
citizen,
county
I
money.
wouldn't get that
That's
same
correct.
thing. But I mean, I just want the taxpayers to understand how much money is being spent here, and it's just to design. It's a design phase on a new trail that we're going to have to pay for through Parks and Recreation, I'm assuming. Bill Davis is going to be responsible for this trailway.
Eventually, for the maintenance of it, unless we turn it over to another trail organization, that the county would be responsible to maintain.
Lackawanna Heritage Valley is interested in helping out and participating too, George.
Well, why don't they do it then? Why do we have to do it?
We own the property. It's our property this time.
Sell to them. You know, we could sell to them.
We'd have to see the covenants and restrictions on the initial grant of 80 to see if we could do that. But we should explore that.
So,
No, we will.
So basically, the county really isn't on the hook for any money. It is $170,000, which Commissioner's alluding to the fact that that's what's going to be utilized, but we can use it in a grant. We've got a letter approved by the state that we can use it in a grant, and this is going to bring a nice trail to the North Pocono community for them to be able to utilize for the recreational needs, right?
Well, I have a problem with that because we don't even know if they need that trail. I mean, did we do a study to see if they needed the trail or wanted the trail? Did
There was
anybody?
a study done back in 2004.
Of course there was.
There was.
And how much
Pull
did
out,
that
too.
cost us? Now we're finding more money.
Didn't
Okay,
cost the
good.
county anything. It was done by the Rotary Club.
Okay.
And they actually raised funds for that and contributed towards that. So in 2004, there was a vision, there was a plan, and I supposed to put together, and I believe Bill Davis may have brought it in a work
So
session.
it took till now to get to that point.
And there's
Okay.
groups that are asking for it, so.
We've talked about the subject quite a few times before this, actually. I'm
I
looking.
could just talk about it under my commentary if you want to
Yeah.
shut me down. That's okay.
I think it's going to be a great opportunity for North Pocono, and we're revitalizing the trails, and we're getting a bridge fixed that wouldn't have been fixed, and that could cost us a
No,
lot
that
of
has
money.
nothing to do with this grant, Pat. Don't say that. Don't write that in the paper because that's not true. This is not paying for the fixing of a grant, okay? We already voted on that.
Fixing of a bridge.
We already got the money from PennDOT. They're already fixing the bridge. This has nothing to do with fixing this bridge. It has everything to do with the grant to be matched with the money that they are spending on fixing the bridge. It has nothing to do with this is just a grant to do
look
a
at-
design for a trail.
I
That's it.
totally get it. But we voted to approve them to actually utilize it. Because if we said no, they couldn't just drive across our bridge.
One didn't
So-
need the other, though. This is a whole separate grant, correct, George? Is this a grant to fix the
Technically, what
bridge?
Commissioner's saying is correct. Technically,
she's right on
correct.
that. But I'm just saying that for us
Don't
to
be trying to say
formulate
this is because that's not the fact. This is just a new grant that we applied for because we have the ability to use the expenditures PennDOT, other taxpayers' money
She's
through the
correct.
state,
Oh, no,
as
no,
a match
I
for a
understand that.
grant that we want to use to design a new trail.
I was here when we voted for the approval for them to utilize it, but we're taking the opportunity of utilizing their money that they're utilizing.
Not gonna
using for
cost the
bridge,
county any
not to
money.
cost the county a penny except for doing it.
When we bought that tract of land, that was what the intent was for it to be a trail.
I understand, Commissioner, but that wasn't my intent. If I was here, I would have voted no.
I'll make a motion authorizing and ratifying filing of the North Pocono Trail Project grant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Absolutely not, no.
Yes. 18-0096.
This is for an amended memorandum of understanding. Wait, I'm sorry. 996 is execution of all documents for the Municipal Assistance Program. George, I guess I was in a hurry for you to sit down. I'm sorry.
It's a good thing.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Wallace.
Authorizing the execution of all documents for the Municipal Assistance Program with the Department of Community and Economic Development, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, for updating of the zoning ordinances for the 9 municipalities in the Scranton to Abington Planning Association, known as SAPA. Whereas Lackawanna County is interested in promoting regional planning and economic development projects whereas Lackawanna County supports regional cooperative planning efforts by local municipalities that will improve quality of life and provide for the health, safety, and welfare and economic viability of the region, whereas Lackawanna County, on behalf of the City of Scranton, the Borough of Clarks Green, Borough of Clarks Summit, Dalton, Dunmore, the townships of Newton, South Abington, Waverly, and West Abington obtained funding via a multi-assistance MAP grant with the Department of Community and Economic Development to update local zoning ordinances of each of those municipalities. Now therefore be it resolved this 18th day of April 2018 that Lackawanna County hereby authorizes the chairman of Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners to sign all documents executing municipal assistance program grant. And Mr. Kelly is here to explain this. And I believe you have somebody from one of the communities here too, Mr. Kelly, to speak on this.
I had a council person from Clark Summit coming, but he had to attend Veterans Court to help.
I understand that. I know somebody was invited. I just wanted to
Who was
put that
that?
on the record for you.
Patrick Williams from Clark Summit,
Patrick's
who's a
been here a
great
bunch of
friend of
times.
ours
You
in
know
the
Patrick.
county.
This is something all of the communities are interested in doing.
This has been a 10-year project. The communities are interested in doing it. What they did is they came to the county, the Regional Planning Commission, which is under Economic Development, and asked us if we could administer this program and help facilitate it. So the team in our planning group applied for a grant, an $80,000 grant, to update ordinances for each community. Some of these ordinances go back to the 80s, 90s. I think the latest one that has been updated was 2008. So it's long overdue. So the team applied for the grant. There's a match, dollar for dollar match for $80,000. So $30,000 is coming from the county as part of our regional planning efforts, and $50,000 is provided by each municipality for this grant. They all had to originally agree 10 years ago to be part of this, and just recently, about 6-7 months ago, they had to pass a new resolution to make sure that they were all in this and wanted to participate in this. So we're just helping provide services and capacity for our municipalities on a more regional approach for planning.
George, who would be doing the work?
Mary Liz Donato and a planning person that I need to replace and bring onto the team. We do the work, but in terms of administering the grant, we would look for a consultant to do all 9 municipalities so that we could coordinate the ordinances among and between. And also, the communities will be working to determine what they want in their communities and to share different uses among and between the communities. So they have more control over what they will put in their communities. For example, a community may not have the infrastructure or roads for an industrial park or a business park. They don't have to provide for that and upgrade all of their roads and utilities because there will be one in one of the 9 communities. So it's actually helping them better plan what they want their communities to be.
They could do that now, though, right?
They can, but if a company comes in or a developer comes in and says, I want a big commercial park here, they'd have a hard time saying, no, they have to permit that use
They
somewhere.
can't stop
within
them. There's no teeth to what they have.
there. And then they'd be forced to take something in. Could be a dump.
So like
It
sheets,
could-
for instance.
Well, if they do the right traffic studies, they may have to do that. But if they have the zoning, that in ordinances that says we're not going to do this type of retail, right now, on their own, they have to allow that to happen somewhere within the municipality. By forming this group and being part of this group, they can say there's one in Dunmore, we don't need one in our town.
They're saying that now, aren't they saying that? Isn't there some opposition to sheets now?
Just a traffic study. They're worried about safety down by the high school. Right now in Scranton, there's one.
We have state reps writing letters and everything. So, I mean, I don't know why we have to spend this money when they could just vote on it in their own municipality. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And a consultant's going to be hired for it?
Yes.
And who's going to decide who gets that job?
What we will do is go out for requests, and then the SAPR team, which has representatives from each of these communities, will review that to make sure that the consultant meets their needs. There'll also be a partnering, because right now a lot of the municipalities have their own person that is a consultant to do their ordinances. So as long as we have one consultant oversee the project of all 9 communities, they may pull in the local people that are currently supporting the municipalities.
So municipalities already have consultants they use to do these ordinances?
Some of them do. Some of them just haven't updated in 30 years.
But all 9 communities are on board for this. They have been for a
Well, I
long
don't know who voted on it. I mean, I would have to go back and look at all the municipalities to see who actually voted on it and see what their thinking was.
I'd be glad to give you the resolutions from each that we.
Doesn't matter, they're going to vote for it anyway, but I mean, I'm just saying, I just want the public to know what it is and so that they can understand what we're voting on. Because a total amount of money we have to do an $80,000 match?
Yes,
So
so-
$160,000 to pay a consultant?
It's usually very expensive to redo zoning ordinances for a municipality.
Boy, lawyers and consultants do really well in government, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Thanks, George. I'd like to make a motion authorizing an execution on all documents for the municipal assistance program. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, George. 18-0098.
This is an amendment memorandum of understanding. Be it resolved, Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby enter into an amended memorandum of understanding between Lackawanna County Adult Probation and Parole and Smart Start LLC for 5 smart mobile alcohol monitoring devices. And Mr. Tom Early, Deputy Director and Probation Officer for our Probation Department, is here to answer any questions and further explain the reason for this amendment. Mr. Early?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Hey, Tom.
It really is kind of restating what had been signed in November. Instead of using 6 units, we're now going to be using 5. And the mouthpiece language was inartful on the one prepared in November, and it's just a better statement of how much it cost per 50 units. I would note that the Controller's Office picked us up on this when billing came through, and it just didn't gear up properly. So we asked them to amend the MOU, and I present it to you for your consideration. This money that is allocated for this comes out of our department's IP grant.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Early? Okay, I'd like to make a motion entering to an amended memorandum of understanding. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Terriani?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes. Thanks, Mr. Early.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Okay. Opportunity for the public to address the board?
Joan Hodawanitz, 220 Linden Street, Scranton. Aren't you glad I came today?
Yes, I am.
There's another article in the Times Tribune from April 11th. State to fund filling in of mine voids under Lackawanna College building in downtown Scranton. And of course, the building is on the corner of Mulberry and Adams. And apparently, testing discovered voids underneath the building, and there's a potential for some shifting or for subsidence. So the college is getting a $450,000 state funding to fill in those voids. That's fine as far as that goes, but it begs the question, if there are voids under this one building under downtown Scranton, are there other voids elsewhere in downtown Scranton? For example, was any testing done for voids under the Globe store before we bought it?
Yeah, I believe there was. Wasn't there, didn't they do that? Yeah. Under the Globe?
Is Gary here?
He was just there.
Sure.
Is Gary Cavill here?
Yes.
He is.
Gary, Joan had a question about if there was voids underneath the Globe store.
Did we test underneath the Globe store to see if there were any voids, mine voids? Yeah.
No, we didn't test.
Oh, I thought we-
I didn't see any basement under.
Well, you couldn't see underneath Lackawanna College. They said there were none visible, but when they did testing, they detected voids, and so they're getting $450,000 to fill it in.
I'm aware of that project. We're the engineer on that. As far as we know, yes, there's nothing.
Gary, why don't you speak into the microphone too, please? Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
There's been no settlement issues or anything else with the Globe that we're aware of. Over at Lackawanna College was a little different because we saw some settlement and within the sidewalks, and that's when we
And
found.
GPI is the engineer for that one too, correct?
Yes.
There was nothing that would make you think that you had to check to...
No, not as far as, I mean, we've seen no settlement. It's been, the building's been there for
Yeah.
For 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Because I would not want to come back to this podium and say, see? So I'll take your word for that one. And the only other thing is, I came into this building on April 9th, Monday, to pick up some of the tourist brochures that are on the first floor near the elevator. For a young student, I believe, in North Carolina, they're doing a project for their county fair down there. And I know you have a lot of little tourist type things down there. So I said, oh, I'll pick some up and I'll mail them to him. When I came in, they asked for my cell phone. I said, well, I'm not going to family court, or I'm just going down the hall. Still had to lock up my cell phone. It was April 9th. I said, well, who decided to do this? Do you know who they told me?
Me?
They said, you. Okay.
Who said, who was they that you're
Two
referring
guards
me?
down
They
there.
said
Well,
Commissioner
you know, you
Collins?
can find out who was working on the morning of April 9th.
April 9th, okay.
They said, oh, Commissioner Loring Cummings. So
And
this
did you
morning-
correct them, Joan?
Huh?
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I understand, but I'm not going to fight with the guards, you know. I don't fight with people who might be carrying guns. I'm not stupid. So this morning, I left my cell phone home. You know, I says I won't take it. So I'm walking through, and two girls in front of me, and they have to render up their cell phones. I don't know where they were going. I had to lock them up, and I said, do I have to give you my cell phone? And they said, yeah. And I says, well, I'm not going to family court. And do I still have to give you my cell phone? Yep. And I said, and who decided this? The judges. So I just would like to know, what is the policy?
The sheriff decided it. That's who
Okay.
decided it. And he still doesn't have a policy that's updated because I didn't get it. I've asked for it.
Well, at any rate, Marie Schumacher got hers through, and she said, oh, you should have brought your cell phone. I said, no, last time I brought it, they locked it up. And
You
I
could bring
went
it
down
here.
for 30 seconds to get those brochures on April 9th.
It's ridiculous.
Okay? And then they had to unlock it. I don't know. I don't care one way or the other.
He's afraid it's
okay?
going to turn into a gun.
It's
That's
just,
what his
it's
response
just
was.
a matter of, please have one policy, make it official, and put everyone on the same sheet of music. That's all I'm asking. So
I've
I don't
asked
have
for
to keep
it.
taking it out of my purse every time I come to this building. That's
Well,
all.
Joan, I agree. The problem is that we can't get a straight answer out of the sheriff. So, I mean, I can't anyway. I still haven't gotten a
How do
policy.
you make a command decision?
Well, my command decision is put them in front on the second floor in front of the judges where they're saying it's required, because it's not required for this building. It's ridiculous to have it down there, and I've been arguing about this. I mean, you don't have to give them your cell phone if you're coming to this public meeting.
Well, I
That's
didn't have
apparently
mine
what
with
he
me, but
decided.
I asked them, I said, do you want my cell phone if I'm going to the commissioners meeting? I said, I'm not going to county court or family court or whatever court you have.
They don't even know the policy, probably.
I'm just saying, let's get a policy, and let's get disseminated, and
There
everybody's
is.
on one sheet.
Thank you.
Chief Walls?
The sheriff actually submitted a policy to us
When?
about 3 weeks ago,
didn't get
and
it.
he submitted it to the three
Lena, did you
commissioners.
get a
Right.
There was an initial one, but I think they said that was going to be.
he
revoked.
called me and said he was rescinding it. That's the last I heard.
He had his chief of staff, his chief deputy, send it over to us and said that they would allow the cell phones to come into public meetings, but he, as the chief security officer for the building, proposed a policy to us that saying that everybody else would have to surrender the phones, and it was held up by the court. So there is a policy in effect.
Held up by the court. What does the court have to do with our building? Nothing. They have
Well-
second floor. That's all they have
there
a
are
say
there are
on.
court offices in this building too.
On second floor, right?
That first floor and first
there
floor
one on
and
first
second
floor?
floor. But the reason we accepted it, Commissioner, is because the sheriff, under the county home rule charter and the code, has jurisdiction over security for all county buildings, and the policy was submitted by the sheriff, not by the county commissioners.
I know that it was the sheriff's
And that was
policy,
the
not ours.
question. He
Yes.
did submit it to us, and
And I had a problem. You said that I
we
couldn't do
accepted
anything.
it in absentia. We did not have a vote on it, or we did not come up with the policy. It was done by the sheriff, and we basically are honoring the policy of the sheriff. And I said he also had it approved by the Court of Common Pleas. So, I mean, we could take exception to it if we want, but at this point in time, we accepted the policy.
Can I have a solicitor's opinion? Donnie?
Oh, geez, Donnie, way to throw it at you.
The only thing I would say is, whether it's approved by the court or not, I mean,
They're allowed to
it's
come to the
it's
meetings.
the function of the county commissioners maybe in conjunction with the sheriff.
Yeah, why does he get final say on our building?
Okay, well, that's something we're looking into.
Good.
Okay.
Can't wait till next election. I got somebody, by the way. We're gonna
Okay.
win.
I'll resend it to the Board of Commissioners.
Anyone else?
Hi, everybody. Sylvia Passeri from Peckville. I'm the founder of Coal Miners Remembered, a group that wants to honor all the coal miners of Lackawanna County. When I first started my project,
Very nice.
I appealed to Commissioner Notarianni, and he sent me in the direction of all the people that could help me. And I got a grant. Thank you very much. I also made up some coal miners' soaps, which you allowed me to sell at the Trolley Museum and at McDade's Park. And thank you very much for that. I have now received all my money and I'm ready to go. The statue is being made, and I had my groundbreaking 3 weeks ago. And Commissioner O'Malley was very kind to speak, very knowledgeable about the coal miners. And we're ready to go. And I'm here with my committee, Mari Kelly, Constance Dentry.
Do you want to bring them forward? You're welcome to Maury
sure.
County. Yeah. And I'm sorry I couldn't get you on the agenda earlier. I explained that to you today, too, right?
I knew,
Right.
we didn't, did we get anything on this?
Mishko and Coach Mishko and Debbie Rotel. This is my committee. And we're ready to go, and thank you very much.
I had an opportunity to be there for the groundbreaking, and it was heavily.
I didn't know about it.
All of us got. I know that
I
all
didn't
of us
get
got
anything.
them.
Lena's right there. We got nothing.
It was on my. It was put on my schedule.
Lorene, I think I told you at the Society of Irish Women dinner that I was.
Oh, that
told me
was, I
outside, too.
appreciate that, but at that dinner, I was, I didn't know anybody there. I wasn't drinking, trust me, I don't drink, but.
Yeah.
You actually told me.
I was
and
in a room of
I had
Democrats.
Dorothy
Let's
put
just
on
put
my
it that way.
schedule. You did tell me the date. Yes, you called me. Actually,
Yes.
physically told me.
Yes, I did.
But it really matters. I mean, all of our relatives that came over here from Europe thought that the streets were paved in gold, and they got here and they ended up going down the ground to go after coal to survive and have a family and make Lackawanna County what it is today. And to remember them and what they did, how they went down into the coal mine before the sun came up and came up after the sun went down, it really matters. And the people in Blakely and Peckville, I think the monument's going to be tremendous for the community.
I'll have to go and see it.
Congratulations to all of you. It was a tremendous groundbreaking, but congratulations.
Congratulations.
Fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Constance has some soaps for you.
There you go.
That's right.
You're right.
My father was one of them. Came from the old country, Czechoslovakia, and he was down the line for years and years and years.
Absolutely. Oh, nice.
I would have been there. She told me. Oh, is that what happened? You know more than me.
Okay. Thank you very much. I know it wasn't easy because this was a long undertaking. It just didn't happen overnight. There was a lot of work, and at the committee, thank you to the committee, but thank you for your hard effort.
Where's it at?
Congratulations. Anyone else?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Look out.
My name's Joe. Yes. One big reason I came
A picture? Yeah, let's do some of them.
is,
Mari, stick around for 2 minutes with the committee.
oh, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm looking at Mr. Toriani, and I think he needs a big apology to you, sir, Mr. O'Malley. Every time I see him on TV, that man walks away when you're talking, when you're speaking. And I think he's very ignorant, and he does not belong there.
Oh,
Joe, we got to stop.
This is how I feel.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah.
And he does this every day, every time there's a meeting.
Joe,
we gotta.
I don't want
It's
to.
their prerogative. Everybody
It's
can.
his prerogative.
Joe, settle
he
down.
belongs there.
Settle down,
No, it
settle
says
down, settle
Commissioners,
down.
other business. If there's any other business to vote on or to act on, I'll be glad to stay.
Well, why don't you stay?
Because that's not what they do. It's not Commissioners, other
Well,
business.
why don't
It's
you
every-
get something to say?
I say all I want to say.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I only know Lorraine Cummings just a while because we got involved in politics. I got involved in politics with him. And I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, I got a wife and I got to listen to everything she says, and she's always right. So I think you people should listen to Lorraine Cummings right there, because I feel she's always right, and I'll tell you why I know she's always right.
Beg to differ.
Oh, you better not, because I'll tell you why. You guys don't look, hold it!
Oh, Joe, settle down now.
The reason I say this is because I know she looks into everything. I wonder if you people look into what you guys are saying every meeting. This woman I know looks and tries to get the facts. I've seen it today because she's checking you out and want to know what's going on and why. So I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody here. This is how I feel. These county commissioners we got, I'm just got to apologize. I'm sorry. So I'm going to praise you people for being here.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to do, before we go into commissioners' other business, we're going to do a quick picture with the committee, real quick, Fran? Yeah, because everybody looks great.
Why didn't I?
All right, we're going to get you a pick and shovel for the mine.
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm fine. Get over there and there. How are you? You guys are the stars of this show. Sylvia's a sweet lady, isn't she?
All right, here we go.
See how
Okay. Commissioners' other business.
Oh, I'm happy we didn't have to pass the registration fee, so thank you for that.
Turn on.
Oh, I'm happy that we did not pass the registration fee. I'm thrilled that there is not a new tax that came about while I was in office, so thank you. The only thing I guess I got shut down on was the bridge to nowhere. Jeez. I mean, it is a bridge to nowhere. They're just doing it so that they can get to their roadway, right? They're just going to, it's to give them access to work on whatever, PennDOT, whatever. What do they have to work on over there? Do you know?
Putting in 2 main bridges over I-84.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that it's noted
Sorry,
that
I-380, I believe it is.
it's not a necessary.
You got to actually see it when you go up there, too.
I'm all for PennDOT if they need to get somewhere to fix the bridge and they pay for it and it saves us $1 million. That works for me. I mean, I have no problem with that. The problem I have is that we get to use that money as a match to a grant that, for something that we don't need to have. And, I mean, I'm still doing my research. I'm going to work with ECTV because our state spends a lot of money on these rails to trails and bike projects, and the trails come before anything else in the eyes of some of these reports that I'm reading that have been in our 12-year plan. So, I mean, the 12-year plan is it's 6 inches thick, so it's going to take me a while to get through everything. But cars are down at the bottom of the list for how much money they want, the percentage of money that they want to spend on paving and roadways. People, bikes, trails, and multimodal are above everything else. It's amazing. I mean, people don't understand how much money is being expended on these things. And then, you know, we have articles every day about the potholes. We have cartoons from John Cole about the potholes. We all know how bad the potholes are around here. And then to top it off, we have headlines, motorists prepare to pay more at the pump. You know, it's just, you know, gas taxes were supposed to go to the roads to pave them, and now we see it pays for some retirement plans and state police, and, I mean, you know, I guess I just don't understand why all this money gets expended in places where it wasn't supposed to be. So, what is the statement? The road to whatever with good intentions, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Road to heaven.
Yeah, whatever. On this earth, I'm not sure about that. But anyway, it's just frustrating, and I'm just actually relieved that I'm so relieved over this registration tax. Thank you so much for that. I really greatly appreciate that, because I was prepared to go full bar war here, and I didn't have to, so you kind of saved me from that. Marie Schumacher, thank you for coming in. Joan Hodawanitz, I do appreciate you coming in. And, I mean, I used to stand on the other side of this podium, and, you know, if it wasn't for our citizens coming in, I don't think a lot of the times the commissioners would even react to some of the things that are happening in the county. And I think that the people had a lot to do with the fact that this $5 registration didn't pass today. So good job to the public. Congratulations, you won one, and I'm happy about that. As far as the mine subsidence and the globe, I still think everywhere, I mean, there's mines everywhere. You never know if it's going to pop up underneath the property. You just don't know. And I know in Old Forge, I tried to find out, because I had my backyard, a dip came through, and it still does. It comes through I have to keep filling it with dirt. And I had them up there. I have to buy mine insurance for my property based on that. Otherwise, it wasn't a requirement, and nobody knows. I tried to find out if there was a mine under my house, and they said, well, we don't know. They just don't know. And it can just happen. I mean, how many times did it happen throughout Lackawanna County? It's scary. And I believe I watched the Scranton City Council meeting, and
Yeah, just so you're aware, there are mining maps available at the DEP office down in Wilkes-Barre that maintain them. They're pretty accurate, not 100%.
In Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, in Wilkes-Barre, the DEP office
Shows where
maintains
all
them.
them were.
Yes, but generally, it's this entire valley is undermined. If you have
That's
a
what I was
deed
told,
with a
yeah.
full clause, you can actually walk from the mines from Carbondale to Hazleton underground if they weren't flooded, but they're flooded currently. But yeah, so this whole area is undermined.
Wow.
It's one big mine void. Yeah.
well, I'm going to have to get those, because, I mean, I'm sure they said that there was where the school is right now, that was where the coal company was. So, and my backyard was some kind of cesspool or something, where they dumped the sludge, yeah. And Joan, I listened to the Scranton City Council meeting, so I know, I'm sorry for the experience that you had. I understand it must have been horrible and traumatic for you. You know, and it kind of explains a lot about why your character is, why you're a tough cookie. You know, you're all right. But I'm sorry that you went through that, and I understand your concern. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And to those that came in for the coal mines, thank you so much. They didn't go.
Yeah,
They
they
did.
left.
That's it. That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Terriani?
Mr. Chairman, is there any other commissioners, other business that is going to require a vote today?
No, there's no other votes.
Excuse me.
Yeah, the vote to adjourn, actually. Okay.
Just like all these people here are staying.
Okay.
Why we staying?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank you, Mr. Gastick. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank our emergency service staff and director, Dave Hahn. A lot of people don't, I'm sure they saw it in the paper or saw it in the news, the situation up Lutherwood. Scranton Fire Department was there, police department. Our emergency services came in to help out whatever they needed. I'd like to thank our staff and the Scranton Fire Department, all the EMTs, all the police who made sure that all the individuals at Lutherwood Apartments got somewhere, and hopefully they'll be back in their apartments for this coming weekend. You had to see it. It's amazing. The roof literally peeled right off the top. And
I saw that on TV.
Yeah, you had to see it. It was so bad up there that day.
Oh, my
but-
God.
But just like to thank all of our first responders. They do a great job. Big, May 19th, please, if you have any time whatsoever, please come down to our Armed Forces Parade in downtown Scranton. May 19th, 11 a.m., it steps off. Come down, honor our veterans, honor our military. There's going to be high school bands. There's going to be a little bit of everything. It's a short parade. I think the whole parade is maybe 1 hour complete. Come down and please, I mean, it's an honor for us to be there for our veterans. Please come on down to downtown Scranton for May 19th, 11 a.m. Also, I'd like to bring Gerard up. Gerard, come up for a minute. This Friday, we're going to be having a blood drive from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Help out the Red Cross. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, Gerard? I just
Sure.
kind of threw you into it.
That's all right. Sure, Commissioner. This is the fourth blood drive that the commissioners will host here since we kind of revamped the process. There had been past blood drives, many different versions of it over the years, but we've done 4 of them now. This will be the fourth since we tried to put it into this format. We've done it at the Globe the last 3, but now with the construction, between now and when we get back in there with our offices, it's going to be here in the administration building on the 5th floor in the conference center. It's open to the public. I would suggest coming a little bit later in that time frame, maybe between approximately noon and the end of it at 3 o'clock, because we've got a lot of appointments early in the day. So
Our
we'll probably
own
be a little
employees?
Yeah, many of them are employees, but there's also some folks who either live or work downtown, so it is open to the public. Anyone is welcome to donate, so we say come one, come all. We asked if you could, to make an appointment in advance, just call our office, 570-963-6800, and ask for me, and we'll be happy to put you in the system. But people can walk in just cold if they want, but we just ask for the appointments because it helps the Red Cross staff to know when
It
to
gets them
allocate.
through faster, too.
It does. That is true. But if folks have to walk in, they are welcomed as well. So we're trying to top 24 units. That was our top return on the first blood drive that we actually had. It ebbed a little bit after that, but we're trying to top 24. We've got just enough people signed up now to do that. We're hoping to get some more, though, too.
Gerard, perhaps you want to mention about Rick Jones being a double donor at all times. I think that's worthy of mention.
Absolutely. Sure. Rick Jones, who I don't think is in the room right now, he's our Deputy Director for Risk Management. Rick is a regular blood donor for quite a long time. I don't know how old he is, so I won't speculate there, but he's donated a lot of blood. Normally, he does what's called a Power Red donation. Power Red means you can donate actually 2 units of blood. I don't want to say exactly how long you have to wait because there's a specific time allotment that the Red Cross makes you wait if you do a Power Red donation from one to the next. It's a little bit longer than a standard blood donation time, so I can't get into the specifics. But some people prefer to do that. Rick is one. If they want to, we have slots available for Power Red donors, so those folks would also be welcomed. So there we have it.
Because I'd like to thank Rick Jones because blood is life and life is blood. If you don't have blood, you're not going to live.
So thank you for supporting us with the project. We appreciate it.
No problem. May 5th, we're going to be having a fishing derby at McDade Park. Ages 4 to 8 begins at 11 a.m. Registration is 10:20 a.m. Ages 9 to 12 begins at 1:15 registration, or 1 p.m. and the actual fishing derby is at 1:15. The number is 963-6764. That's for Lackawanna County Parks and Recreation if anyone would like to be involved with the fishing derby. May 9th, we're going to be having a public hearing for the county fair, 7 p.m. at the Montage Ski Lodge. Anyone would like to come in and give their comments and their thoughts on the actual fair. May 24th, 1 to 5 p.m., Lackawanna County is having a job fair, P&C field, upper suite level. Please come on out. There's lots of jobs, full and part-time. Bring your resume. Be dressed for success. Some of them they'll actually do the they'll meet with you right there on the spot, and hopefully you'll be walking out of PNC Field with a job. I'd like to make a motion. Go ahead.
I'd just like to thank Joe Gazdick for coming in, and I agree with everything he said about me.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call. Roll call.
Oh, Commissioner Cummings.
Yes.
Commissioner Niteriani.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner, we have